It's gray, it's a little overcast. It's easy to get swept away in the mood of the day. Hey y'all, I am VictoreÄ. I help provide insight to empower, and today's video is on vibration, and especially our most practiced vibration. It's who we are, it's what we're tuning into, and the types of songs that are playing, the shows that we're on the channel of. So as a healer, as someone who's had my share of experiences that were less than desirable when I had no control over the situation, it's made me very, very aware of where I'm putting my attention and where I'm putting my intention. Growing up in a very reactive, survival-oriented environment and therefore mindset, it made me tune my mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual station to that channel, to that, radio station. So those were the experiences that I was having. Those are the songs that were playing. Those are the shows that were playing. And those are the types of things that I would then gravitate towards recreating, re-experiencing. Because those were what my beliefs were based off. I mean, how many times have you been sad and therefore listen to even sadder music, I mean, it makes sense on the one hand, because what we resist is what is going to persist. So if we're resisting, and I found this true of my own depression, when I was in the thick of it, or even about to slide into depression, I didn't want to go through that. That's so natural to not want to go through that, but resisting it is what prolonged the duration of the depression, of the anxiety, of the anger, of the shame and self-hatred that was generated from taking out my anger on others or on myself. It was it's a loop. And it can be, ask any psychologist or psychiatrist about stress hormone addiction. Stress hormone addiction. Getting so used to feeling high off of heightened emotional states, and so unknowingly, unconsciously, mindlessly poking and prodding at ourselves, at others, picking fights, gravitating towards toxic, drama-filled programming. I grew up with 3 older sisters watching The Real World and Road Rules and reality TV like that shit was fucking crack. But it's understandable, and we got to look at it with compassion. I think that's what's helped me to not hold anything against myself or others. Is it reminds me of that quote from The Office of hurt people. I mean, if we're wounded, we're gonna gravitate towards wounded people and things. Songs about getting wounded or being wounded. Folks. But that's what keeps us on that channel, in that vibe. resistance to feeling what we need to heal. It's a truism. It's a phrase. It's a saying. You got to feel it to heal it. But in feeling it, as much as it may suck going through it, it gives our body the experience that it needs. Like we need job experience to get a job. Like, so if it makes me uncomfortable to be joyful, then I know that's where I need to like sit with it. I need to sit with like practicing what feels like joy to me, what feels like love, what feels like compassion to me, what feels like healing, what feels like peace. And experimenting with it, fucking around and finding out for myself, for oneself. For me personally, something that I'm noticing, that I have been noticing, especially more recently than not, is how much I go to the bathroom. Go number one. Yep. Now I do drink. I'm a coffee drinker, and I drink a lot of water to offset how much coffee I drink. But I've noticed that like the way I grew up was that my sisters or my parents, anytime I was in a highly or heightened energetic state, like happiness, like play, it would sometimes get on their nerves, and so they would try to shut me down. And so to avoid feeling shut down, I would shut myself down. And isn't that wounding and programming 101 right there, of taking on someone else's hurt, someone else's voice as our own internal monologue, and using it to police and control ourselves. So pissing away that heightened energy is just one example of how whenever that love, that joyous energy comes on, instead of running with it, playing with it, expressing it, I just go to the bathroom and return myself to a neutral state. If you're listening to this, you might have heard about Stoicism, being very calm and collected all the time, but usually and especially for those heightened emotional states where we may be used to being reactive or coming from a wounded place. It may help to instead practice the state of being, the vibe of Stoicism. Now that's good. That's all well and good for me, it was good for a little bit. But I want joy in my life. I want to feel and experience love in my life. And so Stoicism, in a sense, became another way of shutting down those parts of me. So if nothing else, this video is to help bring up a conversation within yourself, maybe within your circles, of where are you shutting yourself down? Where are you just going with the flow of who you've been? Right? We are our most practiced vibrations, our most practiced states of being. And if we want something new, if we want to go to the next level, it may require us to experiment with embodying other states of being. If you're into, LOA type stuff, But what I've found that's helped me to manifest stuff like crazy quick is really soaking my cells in what something feels like. And it's something that kind of creeped up on me more recently than not, of like, oh shit, this stuff is now working for me on like massive scale. Like, it's something that I invite you, I encourage y'all to play around with, to experiment with. And again, like, if I don't know how long you've been alive, but I've been at this for 32 years, and that's a long time to experience things one way. And I'm finding and discovering what ways I've been that don't work for me anymore. And again, more recently, what happens when I practice consistently different states of being, and where that, I mean, not only does it take my mind, my train of thought, like momentum of thoughts. If you've ever heard of Esther Hicks, momentum of thoughts carries momentum of, it like has a ripple effect on our momentum of emotion. So if we're feeling one way, gorilla kindness, if we're feeling one way and we want to feel another way, that's where affirmations come in. It's not so much fake it till you make it. It's like, fuck around and find out. Like, practice, open curiosity, like practice. Okay, I mean, that's what works for me, is like, how is this going to affect me? Let me observe. Let me be open to observing myself as I exercise to bring up or change my energy, my mood, as I practice an affirmation, or do mirror work, which, if you don't know, is just like looking at yourself in a mirror and injecting words of like what you would like to feel more of or think more about. I highly recommend checking it out, because it's honestly changing my life in real fucking time, and it is wild to see that shit unfold.
Thank you, brother.
Love you.
Have a good day.
You too. Gorilla kindness. Yeah, and what do you think? What does this video or me saying bring up within you? I'd definitely love to hear about your experiences and what you're going through, how your human experience is going. Drop it in the comments. If you like this video, please like it. Share if you feel so inclined. And definitely subscribe for more content like this. Hit the bell. That's it for now. Peace. Love you. Have a good one.